profile time.
Oh, that's character profile time, isn't it? We're doing one of your favourites this week, Gemma. It's Kate Connor. You got any opinions on Kate Connor you'd like to share with us this week?
No, but I have to say I'm sorry I growled at you just now.
That's okay, it's fine.
It's
I deserved it.
It's part of our coercive control storyline that we're doing on the podcast.
Yeah, it starts off small.
Yeah.
Just wait 6 months down the line. Kate Connor left our screens last week. Came out of the blue, which is why I didn't have a character profile ready for us last week. Now we get to talk all about her. I remember when it was announced that Faye Brooks was leaving, and I thought, we haven't done a character profile on her yet, because I just haven't had the energy to want to find out that much about her, so I'll keep it.
She's like an emotional vampire.
Yes. So Kate Connor, born on the 16th of November 1989 to Johnny and Louisa Connor. She has got a brother, Aidan, and Carla Connor was her half-sister, although that was a revelation during her time in the show. She made her first appearance on the 5th of October 2015 and left Weatherfield for the foreign climes of, where did she go? Singapore? On the 13th of September 2019. That's probably, did we say before, that's probably what brings Gail back. Like, she's like, I'm having a lovely time here on the beach at Bangkok, and then Kate comes in and ruins it.
Bangkok and Singapore aren't.
Oh no, that's Thailand, isn't it? You know, Asia.
She's like in East Asia going, this is great.
Yeah.
And then suddenly she feels a disturbance in the force.
Kate's like, Gail, it's you got any money? I've kind of run out of my grand. Please, give me some money. And Gail's like, I'm going back home. I can't be dealing with this. Well, Kate made an appearance in 433 episodes, and she's played by Faye Brooks.
Yes.
So, Coronation Street, I think, was her first big TV role. She did lots of stage work before she was on Corrie. She was in the Guildford School of Acting, where she graduated in 2010, where she did a BA in musical theatre, and she got the Principal's Choice Award.
Wow.
So the principal had his eye on her.
Yeah.
And
he's like, vindication.
Yes, she was in, on stage. She was in Grease, she did Legally Blonde, and she did Shrek. I don't know whether I knew all of those, but I have seen pictures of her dressed up as Princess Fiona. I'd quite like to see what she was like on that. She was in Atlantis and Our Zoo, which were BBC programmes before Corrie, but she was in Shrugging.
Don't know what that is.
Atlantis is literally... That's harsh.
Why? She shouldn't even... That would show her acting skills, Michael.
I guess so. She can put on a suit, couldn't she?
How could you think I'm accusing her of
looking like an elephant?
Grey?
No, Atlantis was a programme about Atlantis, believe it or not. The actual place.
The actual real place.
The actual fake place. And our zoo was about when they set up a zoo or something. I don't know.
Bother.
But anyway, she was in one episode of that. But Corrie was her first big role, and her casting was announced in July 2015 alongside Richard Hawley. They were both announced on the same day that they'd be joining Shane Ward as part of the new branch of the Connor family tree coming into Weatherfield that autumn to partly cover up the fact that Alison King was leaving. This is what I've just got a quote here, and I don't know who said it. I don't know whether it was Faye that said it or whether it was Coronation Street publicity that said it. But in any case, Kate Connor is a tough cookie and more than a match for her father and brother. Engaged to be married to Tess, a soldier. Who's that? Kate is a funny and vibrant young woman, full of fun and mischief. But behind the teasing and laughter, Kate is passionate about her family. There is nothing she wouldn't do for them.
There is nothing she wouldn't ask them to do for her.
There is nothing that she wouldn't
do.
ask for them to give her. Tess, this is the proto Kaz, I think.
Yeah.
It's really weird how they even bring out all this publicity with characters as one name, and by the time they show up on the programme, they've got different names. That happens more often than you think.
Turn up and they go, no, you don't look like a Tess.
You
People
don't look
won't buy it.
You look like a Kaz. Yeah, you look cooler than a Tess. So this is what Faye Brooks said about her character on the 2015 Radio Times interview, which was in the issue in October. She said she's a little cheeky, mischievous, and very fun. What do you think, Gemma? Fun? She likes to be the life and soul of the party. She's opinionated and a bit of a hothead, but she's a Connor, so she's competitive like them. There's a bit of rivalry between her and Aidan. I think she's a lost soul, and she's just trying to find herself. Gemma's shaking her head at this.
I'm rolling my eyes as well.
Why? What do you disagree with there, Gemma?
I don't disagree with it. It's just like, I'm trying to find myself now. Only because I hate Kate so much.
It's very difficult to be...
to not just hate her, but I don't know how she couldn't find herself when she spent quite so much time looking in the mirror.
Zing!
Got her, yeah.
Gemma, would you like to start off by telling us a bit about Kate Connor, the early years?
Okay, so she was the youngest sister of Aidan, and there was a 6-year age gap between the two of them. She grew up in Manchester, and as part of the Connor clan, she's close with Carla, even though they didn't know the true relationship there, because Carla was seeing her cousin Paul.
Yeah, she married Paul.
Connor. Carla was actually Johnny's secret love child because she had an affair with Carla. He had an affair with Carla's mum, Sharon, and also Michelle used to babysit Kate.
Do you think that Michelle is responsible for Kate growing up to be
a big old
selfish?
brat.
Yeah,
They really are birds of a feather, aren't they?
totally.
In 1993, Kate's mum Louisa finds out about the affair. She has a row with Johnny. She storms outside and is hit and killed by a car, which shows you that the Connor clan was fit for Corrie greatness even before they were on the show. Johnny then moves to a different part of Manchester to distance Aidan and Kate from the rest of the Connors. And also this was because this was when Johnny's MS started.
Well, this is where they've retconned to say, because he said, I didn't see the car coming because of my MS, but...
Well, I mean, she should have been looking herself.
Exactly.
What's her excuse?
You can have it. Yeah, if you storm out of someone's house, you still got to look.
You still got both
Don't forget
ways.
the Green Cross code.
Yeah.
Louisa.
Stop. Look both ways. Hold someone's hand. 2013, Johnny and Kate go to live in Spain. She has a number of jobs, including holiday rep, waitress, and dance teacher. And then when she's in Spain, she comes out to Johnny as a lesbian.
Right. So that was Kate pre-Corrie, and she first made her appearance in the autumn of 2015. Oh no, I've got another thing. This is another pre-appearance. April 2015 is when she met Kaz.
Yeah.
The newly renamed Kaz Hammond, who is a soldier, and they started dating each other. So 2015 is when they appeared on the street, and it was because Johnny had been going out with this other woman who dumped him and bled him dry, and what happened? That was part. Oh, I'm losing it.
Well, there was something.
Sorry.
Aidan took £100,000.
That's it. Johnny had put £100,000 into Aidan's account as a bit of a tax dodge.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to. I didn't think he had any
Avoid
other money
taxes.
left because of this girlfriend
Yeah,
as
so
well.
then that was all he had left.
Yeah, so...
Unbeknownst
Johnny,
to him, Aidan had gone to Weatherfield to invest the money in Weatherfield, in Underworld. And so Johnny pitched up to get his money back.
Yeah.
And found out it was all tied up in this factory.
Thank you. You explained that very, very clearly. Which I was incapable of doing.
That's all right.
So because Kate hasn't got any experience in the factory industry, Aidan, who's the boss there still, makes sure that she starts from the bottom up because she wants money. And he's like, you're not just taking it off me, you got to have a job. So you go and work with the boxes with Kirk. So very demeaning for her. But it didn't put her in her place for too long. So
she doesn't learn.
No, she doesn't. Most people would be humbled to be put in that situation working along Kirk in the factory, but not Kate.
I think Dee Dee is going to be a bit of a Kate.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, it's like...
Possible.
So Kate is she has a bit of a jokey flirt with Kirk to begin with, which rubs Beth right up the wrong way. And this is when Kate reveals to everyone, don't worry, love, I'm gay, I'm not interested
I still
in it.
don't think that you... Do you not think it's a bit rude for somebody to like flirt and go, yeah, but I'm gay? Like, it doesn't mean that you're allowed to treat members of the opposite sex whatever way you want just because you're actually gay.
Yeah, I suppose if there was like a gay couple and I started coming on to one of the men, I'd be like, don't worry, it's fine, I'm straight.
It's like how you hear like women go to gay bars and start, rubbing up against the people there, and they're like, it's okay because he's gay. Yeah, but keep yourself to yourself.
Late 2015 is when we saw Kaz for the first time. She's on leave from the army, and she wants their wedding to be the following April, like a year after they met. And Kate's like a little bit apprehensive about this because since they've met, they've only spent a couple of weeks together because of the amount of time that Kaz has had to spend in the army. So she thinks this is happening all a little bit fast, which is what she tells Michelle anyway. It's getting a little bit too intense for her. And that brings us into 2016, which is when Kate had the shocking revelation dropped on her that she is actually Carla's half-sister. And this all came about because Rob Donovan was blackmailing Johnny and say, I'm going to tell everybody unless you give me a load of money. And Johnny ripped the plaster right off and said, well, I'm going to tell them myself.
Don't care.
So, feeling a bit lonely with Kaz away in fighting around the world, again, Kate gets close to Sophie. I think we thought it was bound to happen.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lesbian on the street, there's already a lesbian on the street, surely they've got to get together. And they were getting close, but Kaz came back one time and is a bit jealous of the whole situation, so she warned Sophie off of Kate. Kate then tells Kaz that she wants to postpone the wedding. Kaz sees Kate kissing Sophie. Kate blames Sophie for it. And Kaz says, right, I've had enough of this. You're obviously a lot more interested in Sophie than you are me. I can't trust you. I'm out of here. But, unbeknownst to Kate, Kaz is hatching a plan, which goes like this. She comes back later in the month with an injured ankle. She says, oh, I hurt it when I was on doing my training or something.
I did some soldiering.
And now I've got to stay away. You've got to look after me.
I've been...
Right, it's really, really bad.
Yeah, ow.
Oh, it hurts.
Ow.
So it works, really, because Kate relishes the chance to dote on her and look after her and make herself feel even better. And look how generous I'm being with my time looking after my poor sick girlfriend. And Sophie starts to suspect that Kaz is making it up, which she is.
She's like over-exaggerating how bad her leg is.
Yeah. And Kaz thinks that Sophie's still after Kate and says, she just gets jealous, doesn't she? Kaz is like a supremely jealous woman, and then she also accuses Kate of fancying Maria as well. But actually, Kate fancies Maria as well. There were lots of,
people fancying
each other. A lot of Kate's storylines involve who she fancies and who she's going out with and who fancies her. Anyway, the truth about Kaz comes out later because she attacks Clayton. Remember that murdering scumbag? Because he was having a bit of a flirt with Kate, and Kaz is like, oh, you stay away from her. And when she attacks him, it kind of comes out that actually her ankle is absolutely fine. And it also was that I think she'd hurt it in a fight as well. I can't remember. She either said she hurt it in a fight, but it was actually in training, or the other way around.
She lied about
how she got it and the extent of her injuries as well. Kate's like, I've had enough of you, missus. You're dumped. And that led to the odd story in the second half of 2016 where Kaz started fancying Maria, who was straight, but Kaz wasn't taking no for an answer. So she turns into crazy stalker bunny boiling woman. Actually, I don't think I hated that story quite as much as everybody else did. I remember a lot of people saying that this is a utterly ridiculous storyline, but it was all right.
Didn't she set up hidden cameras?
Yeah, she was setting up hidden cameras around the house.
And she was hiding somewhere.
Like Jeff. Because she...
everyone thought she'd gone, but she was hiding somewhere.
No, everyone thought that Maria had killed her because Kaz fakes her own death and she, using Maria's hairdressing scissors, gets a load of her blood around the flat. But anyway, luckily, Aidan finds
Classic.
Kaz working at a factory, and so with Kate's help, he kind of lures her back to the street, and there she is arrested, and that's the end of Kaz. 2017, Gemma.
That was the most exciting
turning point, big year for Kate fans.
She starts working as a barmaid at Nick's.
That's not because of that.
Nick's Bistro. And then this is when Johnny gets his problems.
Oh, he gets upsy daisies, doesn't he?
Yeah, and so she starts confiding in her friend Rana, because Rana's a nurse, and she asks her for the medical advice, and it turns out Johnny has MS. So they get closer, but then she starts dating.
Only as friends, though, because Rana's straight. Remember.
She starts dating Imogen after they meet on a drunken night out at a nightclub. Rana gets miffed about it and makes a scene when they're like all kissing on each other, and she's like, oh, gross. But then Kate thinks that Rana is being homophobic. Then it turns out Imogen's a bit of a bunny boiler. Kate tries...
She sure can attract him, can't she, old Kate? The nut jobs. And there's Lolly as well, let's not forget, he's coming along soon.
Kate tries to slow things down, but they have an argument and they split up, and then Imogen accuses Rana of fancying Kate. Then it seems like that's the case because Rana goes in for a kiss even though she is engaged to Zidane. So then Rana and Zidane have their wedding day, and Kate leaves her a voice message saying she loves her. Then she gets drunk and causes a scene at the reception because Rana sticks with Zidane. She confesses to Luke that she loves Rana, but even though he'd been warned in advance, he was still a bit surprised when he opens the back of the speed dial van and finds them both half naked there, I don't know, rubbing their jobblies. Then they have
That's what they do, isn't it?
they have a secret after-hours date in the bistro, but unfortunately it is robbed by the Bistro Ninja, Michelle. Kate attacks her with a bottle and knocks her out. And then they go, we shall tell no one about this.
I know you're the Bistro Ninja. You know that I'm seeing Rana. Let's both keep this to ourselves, eh?
Also, as an extra added bonus, Michelle says, you know what, girls? You shouldn't be sneaking around interfering with my plans. You should use my flat as a knocking shop.
2018. When was that? Last year.
God.
Rana breaks up. What have I written here? I've written Rana breaks up with Alia, although I'm sure I mean
Rana.
Rana.
I didn't even know that we were dating.
Yeah,
so it's fine.
No, she breaks up with Zidane. So now what's going on here? Rana breaks up with Alia.
Rana wants to support Alia.
Rana breaks up with Kate.
Yeah.
Rana breaks up with Kate.
This is when Luke gets murdered.
Yeah.
And she wants to support Alia and Zidane because Alia's going through her Weatherfield widow phase.
Yes, yeah. And Kate goes out with Sophie for a little bit as well. They never really go as far as I expected them to with Kate and Sophie. They're always just like dating for a little bit, weren't they?
Always just felt like girlfriends of convenience.
Yeah, it's like you thought that Sophie and Kate would be the next hot couple on Coronation Street.
Well, look,
brought in a new
they're
lesbian.
boring.
Well, no. Rana then confesses to Zidane that she is in love with somebody else, and Kate says, it's me that she's fancies. Yes, that's right, your wife is a lesbian.
Ha
Take that, Zidane.
Take that.
And Zidane's like, well, you know what? I'm a bit shocked by this, but I'm still going to stay with you, Rana, because your parents... your money parents have agreed to give me a load of cash to keep quiet about your dirty little secret.
Well, because they were worried about the impact it would have on their community.
Yes,
and
community and family. They managed to
they hammered home
dodge the fact that it's not just that it's a religious issue.
They just kept saying the community.
Yeah. So Rana says, well, look, I still want to be with Kate, but they kind of... She ends up... She's like, to the public, she's still happily married to Zidane, but secretly she's having it off with Kate.
Gross.
But it doesn't last for long. Well, the secret doesn't last long, because one day Alia comes in and with the Habibs, I think, as well, and finds them snogging on the sofa.
This is what I mean when I say gross, because this is when Rana had a cold.
Yeah.
Or was it Kate?
No, Rana had a cold.
And she was all snotty, and then Kate was like all sucking on her face, and Rana was probably unable to breathe.
Well, Alia is disgusted by this because of, she's supposed to be Alia.
Yeah,
because she's supposed to be going out with...
She was upset about the betrayal against her brother.
Exactly. So she outs Rana to all and sundry. And just when you thought that things couldn't get any more dramatic for them, this is when Aidan kills himself. So
yeah,
Kate... it was an odd... Yeah, Kate's reaction, if I remember rightly, was saying how selfish Aidan was. This was like everybody reacted in a different way to show that there's no right way to react when these things happen, or everyone's different. And she was definitely mad at him. Not just for him stealing the limelight of her or anything like that, but because, he's kind of ruined things for everything.
You would be angry.
Yeah. So there's another death that Kate has to deal with later in the year as well, and this is Rana's dad, Hassan, I think his name was, and he died. Did he have a heart attack or something? Or no, he had a stroke?
Yes,
anyway.
That's right, because Rana was upset because she couldn't see him, and she thought that if her mum had let her see him, she would have known that it was a stroke.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, but she was there when her dad died.
Yes.
And he died thinking that she'd seen
the
error of her
ways. The mum
ways.
made her say, tell him you're not gay anymore.
I think that she came... I don't remember how it happened, but anyway.
We're doing a really great job, it doesn't matter.
It's fine. Nobody really minds. People will forget about Kate soon, hopefully. They might
I thought you were going to say people forget about how stupid we are.
Anyway, Kate has to do without Rana for a little bit because Rana goes on a cruise with her mum for 6 weeks that lasts about 10.
For no reason.
To try and smooth things over with her. And when she gets back, they both have a cute little double proposing scene.
Yeah,
they both get married. They both had rings.
Both had rings in their pockets. Somebody saw that video.
Anyway, Kate is like, right, we're going to get married. We're going to have a baby. She's got grand plans for their family. And
she's like, we've got to do it soon because we're going to get old.
Rana's like, whoa, hold your horses a little bit. I don't think I'm ready for any of that yet. And she, but eventually she's like, well, okay, anything Kate wants, Kate will get. But I suppose I better learn that now. So trying looking for sperm donors, don't they? But this is when Robert jumps in and says, I want a baby too. But he ends up pulling out in the end. Not like that.
It's not going to work like that.
And then, do you remember when this happened? Kate tried to seduce Adam to try and get her pregnant. And there were 68 people complaining to Ofcom about this. Like, the very idea that a lesbian might do this. And Ofcom were like, no, it just goes to show that Kate is very desperate.
Oh, can you imagine how hard you'd eye roll working in Ofcom?
I know. Anyway, Kate and Rana split up for a bit because of that. But then they reunite on New Year's Eve. And after Imogen returned for a little cameo, but Kate and Rana realised that because their love is so pure, nobody could come between them.
No.
And that leads us to this year, Gemma.
In 2019, we get Lolly. Lolly turns up, takes it upon herself to become a wedding planner. She's a bit of a Mary. She's got a big old binder full of ideas that she wants to impose on the happy couple. Rana feels like she's being left out of all of this, and eventually she gets the courage to tell Lolly to back off. But unfortunately, Lolly does not react well to being told no, which you can see why her and Kate were such great friends. She gets uninvited. She goes to the flat. She ruins Rana's wedding dress, and then Beth has to speedily fix in time for the big day by stowing away in the factory.
In the middle of the night, when anybody could be creeping about above.
Then we get the roof collapse tragedy, where blah 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 happens.
Rana dies.
Yes.
Kate is devastated.
She moves out of the flat into the Rovers with Johnny and Jenny, just to annoy Jenny a bit more. Then she gets mad and she won't speak to Carla because it comes out that she knew the roof needed to be fixed, but she didn't fix it. And eventually she gets bored of not being the centre of attention, so she decides to go travelling. She gets a nice brown envelope full of cash from Gary, which she thinks is from Jenny. Eventually that gets cleared up and she leaves Weatherfield for Singapore, and she'll never come back.
Never, ever to come back again.
Or be spoken about.
Ever. This
or
is like
referred to.
No, this is the last time we're going to mention Kate on the podcast, although, she might appear on our Joni Awards next year, possibly.
Don't you think that you kind of, in a way, love to hate her? Because I do.
Oh, yeah, I think so. And I think by the end of Kate's time, she was being written in a way that, with a nod and a wink, saying that we know that she's really annoying, especially when she was demanding that they have a baby. I think
she's just so oblivious and insufferable.
She came in being, I think she was kind of quite, flirty and fun and everything at the beginning. I never really warmed to her, but she wasn't quite so annoyingly needy. She was accidentally money grabbing, I don't think, at the beginning.
Selfish, and I don't think they meant to write her like that.
No,
but I think once they realised what they'd done, they leaned into it, which I really liked.
Yeah. The stuff where Rana was saying, no,
stop sidelining me in my own relationship.
And Kate was being completely oblivious about how little care that she was obviously paying to what Rana wanted. I thought that was quite funny in the end. Anyway, it was announced on the 30th of April this year that she'd be leaving, and she says, thanks to everyone for your amazing support, but after 4 fabulous years in Weatherfield, it's time for me to explore new opportunities. I've loved playing Kate Connor, but she needs a break for a little while, and so with a song in my heart, I'm off to pastures new.
Yeah, nice.
Sad day, what a sad day that was when we found that out, Gemma.
So mean,
do you think that anything could have made Kate work as a character? Or was the fact that, because we've got this, like you say, we've got Dee Dee coming along soon, possibly in Coronation Street. Not that I've heard anything about, casting or whatever. But the fact that you said that Dee Dee could be a bit of a Kate Connor makes me think, I don't want there to be someone like that. Or I don't want to hate another character as much as we hated Kate. It's like, what could they have done to make her less annoying?
Don't you think, though, that you need characters like this in the show? You can't like everybody. And I don't see how she's that much different from Michelle. I don't really mind having characters that I don't like in the show. Even Tim.
But
you can't like everybody.
I'd rather like the people I'm supposed to like and hate the people I'm supposed to hate.
I don't know whether it's as simple as that, though.
I mean, there are people like her in real life, obviously.
I know, but do you divide every character on the show into groups of who you like and who you don't like?
I've got a little list in my head. I mean, there are shades.
I know, but I don't really think that I don't put that much thought into it. Like, I have my favourite people, but
I think that if they'd have made a bigger thing about like making her purposefully annoying at the beginning, I might have liked her more. I might have like gone along with it and going, oh, we're supposed to not like her. But for the longest time, I felt like we were being told
I do
Kate's
resent
a great character, and look,
Yeah.
now she's in this wonderful relationship. Isn't her and Rana, aren't they the perfect couple? And I
Yeah.
was thinking, no, they're
I
really,
resent
really
being
not.
spoon-fed things that are clearly not true.
Yeah, but if she had been obliviously annoying, like Rosie, for example, and made a bigger thing of that, then I might have liked her a whole lot more. It's nothing to do with Faye's performance or anything like that. She did a decent enough job with what she was given. I just think we were supposed to like her and it didn't really work. But it did for a lot of people.
I think the fandom ruined Rana and Kate, and I think in a kind of really tragic way they reaped what they sowed here, because the more they
responded to it and said, yeah, more,
they
Carno.
pushed and they moaned, and they set up unrealistic expectations. They put unfair pressure onto people, and they made things up in their mind that what didn't actually happen, and then they became completely toxic when Bavner wanted to leave. And I really do feel as though they were the architects of this entire
the collapse
of it. And I think that it's an example of how a vocal minority of fans ruin things for people.
Yeah. I don't know whether the fans liked Kate for who she was or whether they just liked the idea of the relationship.
This is what I said before about people that fans that like people for what they identify as rather than who they are as a person. Your sexuality is not a personality, and that it is kind of offensive when people jump on a bandwagon to ship people together just to kind of I don't know.
I've just found
really
her
offensive.
I found her a bit bland, Kate.
She is bland.
Well, there was a good blog on the Coronation Street blog this week by a poster called Jade, who was saying that Kate is too defined by her romantic relationships, and apart from who she is and isn't going out with, we don't know very much about her.
That's
apart from the fact that
point.
she's very needy, which is very true. Like we've gone through all the main Kate stories, and apart from the Aiden suicide thing, it was all about who she's dating.
Yeah.
And that just didn't come across as being particularly interesting.
Well, this is the same problem that they've got, and they're always going to have with characters like I said before about being representing a minority. They kind of felt like they had to have her in a relationship.
Yeah. I was thinking as well about her being very needy and selfish and everything, and wondered whether that would be justified because of, she didn't have a mum. And I think that because Johnny was feeling guilty about causing, was it Louisa, was that her name?
Yeah.
Her death, then he would probably overly dote on her and spoil on her.
Well, it seemed like Aiden was a bit more
He's a bit more
self-sufficient
grounded,
and perhaps bottled his feelings up to a tragic outcome, whereas Kate was probably easier to indulge.
Yeah. And Kate also, never... I don't think she ever really knew her mum, because when she was born, 1989, was it? And then she died in 93, so I can't remember what they've said, but it wouldn't...
You'd have memories,
You'd
but
have
you
very
know.
vague memories. It's a bit like what Sinead's worrying about with Bertie, and obviously there's a difference in age gap between Bertie and how old Kate was when this happens, but it doesn't really surprise me that she turned out to be this sort of person, but I don't know. And then we've got the problem with her exit as well. I do feel a bit sorry for the Kate fans that she got a really kind of raw deal, because ever since Rana died earlier in the year, Kate's not really had anything to do, and she had a total flop of an exit, didn't she?
Yep.
Just was like, oh, I'm off travelling, off I go, bye.
Yep.
I would have thought that as somebody who was, a leading lady, was she? Maybe not, but she was the face of the big Corrie romance. I would have think that they'd have wanted to give her a bit more of an exit story compared to Bavner leaving.
Yeah.
She whimpered out.
I don't know. I think if I was working on the show, I'd have a really bad taste in my mouth about how people reacted to the whole situation, and just, you know, and then you get Faye deciding to leave after Bavner had already put a lot of thought into the best way to go about having her character leave, but getting it very wrong because she couldn't have anticipated how people would have reacted. I don't think. I don't think so. People would argue, I'm sure, that that's not true. If she had looked into it a bit more, I don't know. I think it took a lot of us by surprise.
Yeah.
The reaction that we had. So it kind of, again, I feel like it's a symptom of the fan group. Not that you can, not that Coronation Street, I feel like, is beholden to what fans want, because they're clearly not. But in this situation, it just seems very odd, like you say, and it just feels a bit deliberate to me. But then I am a very vindictive and vengeful person, and this is the sort of thing that I would do.
Yeah, I'm not complaining that we didn't get a big story, but as I say, if I was a Kate fan, I'd feel a bit shortchanged.
But I mean, how different is it to any other exit for a story, a character? I don't think very many characters get special treatment. And I don't know very many characters that get a really fanfare exit unless they die or something tragic happens to them. And that's not the case with Kate.
There's a split. Sometimes they'll have a story and sometimes they'll just decide to up and leave pretty quickly. Like, say, Zidane last year. Yeah. He just like, oh, no, I'm going now, bye.
Yeah.
Oh, well. So,
but the thing is, Coronation Street's so much bigger than any one character.
Yeah. Do you think that, like, when we look back 5-10 years down the line, will Kate be a character that we'll really remember? Like, or will she be like one of these ones like, oh yeah, do you remember there was Johnny had some children? I
don't think so. I don't think she's... No.
I think we might go, oh yeah, that was a character that
was a character that there was such a blank canvas that she had people project things onto her to the extent that it kind of ruined the show for everybody else. Well, it certainly ruined going on Twitter for a good long period of time.
Yeah, it did. It certainly did.
I'm just so sick of how social media amplifies toxic fan bases and empowers them to ruin things for everybody else.
Yeah, she had a few good moments. I think I'll remember that she's there. As long as Johnny is a character on the show, we'll always remember Kate, but I don't need her to come back.
No, I don't. So what? She's gone. Bye.
Yeah. Bye, Kate. And I don't think I've got anything else to say about her, really. We did have a few comments from our patrons about Kate this week. So we said that we were going to have a character discussion on Kate, and not too positive, to be honest. Navdeep said that I found Kate a very irritating and self-centered character, especially during her obsession with wanting to have a baby. She never once considered how Rana felt. Hopefully a trip to Asia will give her a new perspective on life and make her a better human. She can then return to Coronation Street, and share her newfound wisdom with family and friends. Oh, just imagine that Kate swanning in like the know-it-all guru. Don't fancy that.
Also, it was quite funny how obsessed she was with having a baby, and now she doesn't give two hoots about it.
Yeah, I know, that's true. Fiona, you want to read her comment out?
She says, I didn't take to Kate at all. I can honestly say she's one of the most boring characters ever written. She would often be in scenes and I wouldn't notice. I didn't know what she liked, didn't like, thought about things, what made her angry, sad, etc. Her self-obsession, self-centeredness, amazing self-involvement, and outstanding selfishness made her so uninteresting. She was always borderline controlling of Rana, the baby storyline being a perfect example. Kate wants a baby, Rana can just fall in line. Ironically, leaving for Singapore, Thailand, wherever, is by far the most interesting thing she has ever done, and she made Alia look spirited.
And finally, Rebecca said, I never really liked Kate, thought she was spoilt at the beginning, and then the Rana story, she just wanted a baby. She didn't think about Rana at all. There's got a common theme to these messages. The only time I liked Kate was when Aidan died, and she showed some signs of emotion. If she ever comes back, I hope that she's grown up a bit. It would be funny for her to come back and be a rewritten character, because, I mean, I don't think any character is completely irredeemable. It depends on
she was a victim of circumstances, unfortunately, I think.
Yeah. Oh, well. Bad luck, you can't win them all. hope that she goes on and does some other good stuff. I mean, she's back on the stage again this year. She's doing a bit of panto. She's going to be Snow White at the Birmingham Hippodrome, which I'm sure she'll do a very, very good job on.
We could go and see that. Leslie Joseph is the Queen.
I know.
And it's only up the road from you. Dad's going to be there at Christmas.
No, totally. We could. And that's it.
That.
So from best newcomer at the NTAs in 2017 to leaving the show a few years later.
Friday the 13th.
Burning brightly. Maybe.
Okay.
Anyway, that's it for Kate.
Oh, man.
Not Corrie's finest moment.
Oh, I feel really... I've never been so bitchy.
Oh, I can't bring myself to talk about her, really. I just feel so... She's so bland. I just don't have much comment.
I don't think she's bland. Well, I don't know.
She was boring. She was really boring. And
I just wish that they'd grasped onto her conniving nature a bit more.
Yeah.
And gone with it further. I know they did a bit, but they really could have made her a lot more interesting. But maybe they were scared of the fans. But, I mean, the fans didn't like anything they did anyway, so why bother worrying about what they thought?
Yeah. She could have turned into a Corrie villainess, you know.
She would have been really good as a villainess. She would have been vindictive.
After Rana had died, she could have gone completely off the rails.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
She would have been vindictive, single-minded, and she would have totally... it would have been justified in her mind because of how selfish and self-absorbed she is, that she was doing the right thing. I would have really liked, like, Kate as a crusader trying to find out who was responsible for... bringing the factory down, and then kind of like trying to recruit Imran, and in the end he's the one that has to try to turn her in because she's just gone too far, and she's like, Imran, help me with this pipe bomb.
If she'd have killed Gary in the end, then she would have been thrown away in prison or killed off, and then she definitely wouldn't have come back.
I kind of would have really loved that.
Oh well. Still chance.
You've got to think about it. Are we making a soap here or what?
Right, that is it. That's it. I'm fed up of talking about Kate.
Right,
it's been half an hour too long. And
You're so mean.
Oh, sorry, she's boring, isn't she? Right, we've got a tiny bit of news in the cabin. So up next we have a very short cabin segment. Here we go.